Anchiornis is a genus of small, four-winged paravian dinosaurs, with only one known species. The type species Anchiornis huxleyi, named for its similarity to modern birds. The Latin name Anchiornis derives from a Greek word meaning near bird, and huxleyi refers to Thomas Henry Huxley, a contemporary of Charles Darwin. Anchiornis fossils have been found only in the Taoyuan Formation of Liaoning, China, in rocks dated to the Late Jurassic, about 160 million years ago. It is known from hundreds of specimens, and given the exquisite preservation of some of these fossils, it became the first Mesozoic dinosaur species for which almost the entire life appearance could be determined, and an important source of information on the early evolution of birds. Anchiornis huxleyi was a small, bipedal theropod dinosaur with a triangular skull bearing several details in common with dromaeosaurids, tritonids, and primitive avialans. Like other early paravians, Anchiornis was small, about the size of a crow. 10 had long, wing-bearing arms, long legs, and a long tail. Like all paravians, it was covered in feathers, though it also had scales on certain parts of the body. The wings, legs, and tail supported long, but relatively narrow-veined feathers. Two types of simpler, downy, plumaceous feathers covered the rest of the body, as in Sinomatosaurus. Down feathers made up of filaments attached to their bases, and more complex down feathers with barbs attached along a central quill. Long, simple feathers covered almost the entire head and neck, torso, upper legs, and the first half of the tail. The rest of the tail bore pennaceous tail feathers, rectrices, 3 long feathers on the head crown, may have formed a crest. 2. While the first specimen of Anchiornis preserved only faint traces of feathers around a preserved portion of the body, many more well-preserved fossils have since been found. Studies of Anchiornis specimens using laser fluorescence have revealed not only more details of feathers, but also the skin and muscle tissue. Taken together, this evidence has given scientists a nearly complete picture of Anchiornis anatomy. Additional studies indicate that Anchiornis had body plumage that consisted of short quills with long and independent, flexible barbs. These barbs stuck out from the quills at low angles on 2 opposing blades. This also gave each feather an overall forked shape and resulted in the theropod possessing a softer textured and shaggier appearing plumage than is seen in modern birds. Shaggy contour feathers probably influenced thermoregulatory and water-repellent abilities, and, in combination with open-vein wing feathers, would have decreased aerodynamic efficiency. 11-12. The holotype, belonging to a subadult or young adult individual, measured 34 centimeters, 1.12 feet. Long and weighed 110 grams, 3.9 ounces. 5. The largest specimens measured 60 to 62 centimeters, 1.97 to 2.03 feet. In total body length, 13 nearly 57.4 centimeters, 1.88 feet. In wingspan and weighed about 0.6 to 1 kilogram, 1.3 to 2.2 pounds. A creature the size of a chicken sits on a tree branch in an ancient forest. It's covered with feathers and has wing-like limbs. Suddenly, it spreads its limbs and glides down from its perch, landing on another branch. This animal is a bug-eating dinosaur called Anchiornis huxleyi, and it's the oldest soaring dinosaur that paleontologists have found so far. Feathered friend. Scientists first described Anchiornis huxleyi in 2009 after finding a 150 to 160-million-year-old fossil dinosaur in northeastern China. The ancient animal, which lived during the Jurassic period, had long, feathered legs and curved claws on its feet that likely helped to climb trees. It also had rows of feathers lining each arm. Despite its plumage, Anchiornis huxleyi couldn't fly like many modern birds do. Its feathers were too short, which prevented the animal from soaring long distances. But researchers think that the dinosaur could glide on air from one tree branch to another, its limbs and feathers acting like a built-in parachute. About 10 million years after Anchiornis huxleyi came Archaeopteryx. Scientists are still discovering how these bird-like dinosaurs evolved, but they know for sure that all of today's birds are descended from dinos, true colors. Using Anchiornis huxleyi's fossils, scientists figure out something else about the animal. It was a redhead. Researchers discovered the color of Anchiornis huxleyi's feathers by studying chemicals called melanosomes preserved in the dinosaur's remains. Melanosomes store pigment, which gives living things their color. The scientists' research revealed that Anchiornis huxleyi had black and white feathers on its limbs and a showy red crest on its head, similar to a woodpecker's markings. This was the first time scientists have figured out the exact color pattern of a dinosaur. This is one prehistoric animal with a colorful history. In addition to the front wings, Anchiornis had long, veined feathers on the hind legs. This has led many scientists to call Anchiornis a four-winged dinosaur, along with similar animals like Microraptor and Sapiornis. 16, however, the feathers on the hind legs in Anchiornis did not have the shape or arrangement expected from flight feathers, and it is likely that their primary role was in display rather than flight. 17. Like other early Paravians, Anchiornis had large wings made up of pennaceous feathers attached to the arm and hand. The wing of Anchiornis was composed of 11 primary feathers and 10 secondary feathers. The primary feathers in Anchiornis were about as long as the secondaries and formed a rounded wing. The wing feathers had curved but symmetrical central quills, with small and thin relative size and rounded tips, all indicating poor aerodynamic ability. In the related dinosaurs Microraptor and Archaeopteryx, the longest wing feathers were closest to the tip of the wing, making the wings appear relatively long and pointed. However, in Anchiornis, the longest wing feathers were those nearest the wrist, making the wing broadest in the middle and tapering near the tip for a more rounded, less flight-adapted profile. Anchiornis had very long legs, which is usually an indication that an animal is a strong runner. However, the extensive leg feathers indicate that this may be a vestigial trait, as running animals tend to have reduced, not increased, hair or feathers on their legs. 3. Like most Paravians, Anchiornis had 4 toes on the foot, with the third and fourth toes the longest. The first toe, or hallux, was not reversed as in perching species. 3. The hind wings of Anchiornis were also shorter than those of Microraptor, and were made up of 12 to 13 flight feathers anchored to the tibia, lower leg, and 10 to 11 to the tarsus, upper foot. Also, unlike Microraptor, the hind wing feathers were longest closer to body, with the foot feathers being short and directed downward, almost perpendicular to the foot bones. 3. Unlike many other Paravians, the feet of Anchiornis, except for claws, were completely covered in feathers, though these were much shorter than the ones making up the hind wing. 3. Some specimens have preserved scales on the toes, tarsus, and even lower leg tibia, suggesting that scales existed beneath the feathers. The underside of the toes were formed into fleshy pads with distinct creases at the joints. The foot pads were covered in small, pebble-like scales. Scales were also present on the top of the feet, but these are very hard to see in all known fossils.